Hope that everyone's off to a great week so far, and that you guys enjoyed this past week of hectic sports with the NFL draft and NBA playoffs. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm your host, Zach SchuZ Shoemaker. I'm excited to welcome you to the 9th episode of SchuZ Views. I'm here at my home in Gilbert, Arizona, and I'm ready to bring you guys up to date and give you guys my views on this terrific past week. And you're not going to want to miss out on what rising Arizona star SchuZ Freeney has to say. With that being said, let's get right into it. There's some big-time things I need to hit up. On this episode of SchuZ Views, you'll get to hear from special guest SchuZ Freeney as he joins the show to chop it up about all kinds of great stuff. Then, I'll get into the player position triangle, where I'll hit up how each tier of players at the position break it down. Then I'm going to give you guys a quick update on how the coaching breakdown and front offices are going down right now across the league. Then, I'll give you guys an NBA playoff update and recap of round 1 and preview of round 2. And you're not going to miss SchuZ Zone as I hit up a whole bunch of topics that the media did not talk about enough. Trust me, it's going to be a great one. I'm going to get into is something I've seen on Instagram and Facebook the last couple of days. There's an account that created something called the NBA Player Triangle. And they basically was saying at the top with the top players and so on by different tiers in a way of what each player is like and where the players fall in that triangle. Well, that being said, I'm going to give you guys my rundown because as for the only one I really seen was the point guard one, and I was very disappointed in what it had. I'm not going to bring up that because there was a lot of things I disagree with. But without further ado, let me get into it. I'm going to start with the point guard list. Now, before I get started, let me tell you guys this. There's 4 guys that I'm not ranking because of injuries or they just haven't got their chance to play against his returning in Isaiah Thomas's case. So those 4 guys are John Wall, DeJounte Murray, Isaiah Thomas, and Dante Exum. Those 4 guys are all guys that definitely could potentially be in this 9 category group, but I'm not going to rank them because of the fact that I just don't know. I'm not going to rank them from past seasons. So let's get into it. The first thing I think is separate. The number 1 spot belongs to one person only. That is Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. He plays at a whole other level that no one's really seen ever before. I mean, it's not competitive. Yes, Kyrie is right there and Damian, I believe, are right there, so close to him, but they just can't get him. So the thing Steph Curry can do is different. Yes, Damian can get on Steph Curry. It's going to be a great series if they probably do meet up in the conference finals like I expect. I'm going to get into that later, though. But Steph Curry's in his world of his own. That being said, the next group is Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, and Kemba Walker. As I just said, Kyrie and Damian are the 2 and 3. Not in a specific order, but those 2 guys are killers and they are dominant, especially in the playoffs, and they're showing up big time. They are almost in a separate little group. They're better than Westbrook and Kemba, but they're not as good as Steph. So they're in that awkward group. But then Westbrook obviously still averages a triple-double. I don't care what you guys want to say. Shooting, he needs a step back. No. In my opinion, Westbrook is still a star, and he could do what is needed. I completely think it's outlandish and ridiculous that they really want to say Westbrook's not that good and yada yada. No, I don't care. Kemba Walker, then, he's on the borderline between me and the second and third group. Kemba's a stud, and he can play at a very, very high level. He's terrific, and I love what he does, and I hope he does stay in Charlotte. But he is in the second group just because of the fact that he can score at a high, high level and almost led his team to the playoffs single-handedly. That being said, the third group, Mike Conley, D'Angelo Russell, Drew Holiday, and Chris Paul. Mike Conley is a star that came back from his Achilles injury the previous year. He's played amazing this year, averaging about 21 points a game. We know what D'Angelo Russell is capable of and what he does and what he has done this past year. Led a team to the playoffs, 21 points a game, 7 assists, great. Drew Holiday is a lockdown defender. I think he's the best defending guard in the NBA. And Chris Paul, we know what Chris Paul can do. He leads a team in terms of veteran leadership, but he's not just like Kyle Lowry. He does all things. He's a great defensive player, he's a facilitator, and he can score. There's not much more you can ask. He's perfect for pairing up with Harden. Now, the fourth group. You guys realize there's someone I haven't said yet. There's actually 2 guys that I think a lot of people, especially people in the media, would disagree with. And that's Ben Simmons and Kyle Lowry. I rank them there because Ben Simmons is a great player, but he can't shoot. We know that. And once you do put him in the half court, he is not as great as when he's on a fast break or gets a full steam ahead at you. That just is what it is. He doesn't compete with the guys I listed before him. Okay? Kyle Lowry is a great leader, great veteran. These guys are still top guys. They're still top 10 point guards. They're just not at that other level. Lowry does not score a lot. He still can get in a flunk quite a bit. He bounces in and out of relevancy. But yes, he's very crucial. He's the 3rd best player on the Toronto Raptors team. Yes, Siakam is better than him now, in my opinion. Then you got Eric Bledsoe and Goran Dragic. Bledsoe, he's been amazing with Milwaukee. I loved him back in Phoenix, but he's truly shown up big time in Milwaukee and helped bring them to the playoffs. As for Goran Dragic, he has struggled a little bit because he came back from an injury, but he still saw a lot of flashes, and he was an all-star last year. He can still play at a high level. He facilitates. He's basically what Kyle Lowry is, but he's for the Miami Heat. That fifth group is three youngsters: Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, and Trae Young. All studs that are all going to be future All-Stars with high ceilings. I don't need to get into that. I think that they're going to be in this top group soon. All three of those guys are the elite, best of the best young point guards up and coming, okay? Next group, I got Spencer Dinwiddie, Ricky Rubio, Reggie Jackson, Jeff Teague, and Beverly. Now, a couple surprises there. One is Patrick Beverly. When I first started this, I had him around the ninth category. But now he's obviously in the sixth because of the fact we saw how important defense is to where a team that doesn't have any All-Stars, as a matter of fact, can go and shut down and win 2 games against the Golden State Warriors. That is big time, and that is something that cannot be underestimated because he did an amazing job. He also was scoring, and he gets about 10 rebounds a game and during that Golden State Warriors series. He passes and all that. Jeff Teague is still a great point guard. He still was one of the top assist leaders in the NBA. In terms of average, I believe he averaged over 8, I think it was 9 actually, assists per game. He was dealing with a lot of injuries this year, so that's why a lot of guys didn't know about him, and he kind of fell off. Reggie Jackson played at a very high level in the postseason. For the first time in a long time, he was healthy. Finally getting back to himself from the days when he first got to Detroit, Oklahoma days, so on. He played all 82 games this year. Rubio is a great leader, great veteran, floor facilitator, and so much more. And of course, Spencer Dinwiddie, he can score at will, one of the best bench guys that can easily take over a franchise at the helm of it. Number 7 is Dennis Schroeder, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Derek White, and Lonzo Ball. Dennis Schroeder is a great system that can also be a starter for a team. Amazing what he did for Oklahoma this year. He's a very big asset for them. Colin Sexton will also be growing up and getting to the higher and higher levels as he gets better, but he was a rookie. He doesn't really have a lot of assists or rebounds or steals or anything else besides scoring. Clarkson, same story. Those two guys were great guys for Cleveland and great building blocks. Derek White is a stud. I saw that 36-point game, I believe. Yeah, against for San Antonio against Denver a couple games ago. He can play. He's averaging over 10 points a game, but he's going to be a great player, and it's just about equivalent with him because you see the way he can step up. Lonzo Ball dealt with a lot of injuries as well. I'm not sure where he will turn out after all this stuff, but I put him there because he's a great triple-double kind of guy. Showed a lot of improvements on shooting this year. The next group, I'm going to have Dennis Smith Jr., Elfrid Payton, Emmanuel Mudiay, DJ Augustine, Terry Rozier, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A lot of guys are young players that are still developing. Dennis Smith Jr. will be at the high level soon. Great player for the Knicks. I love him being there. Elfrid Payton got so many triple-doubles this year. Truly showed that he can play healthy and he's a great player. Emmanuel Mudiay played at a very high level off the bench and while starting for the New York Knicks. And I truly believe he will be the sixth and a high player in free agency that people are underestimating. They will get a bargain on him. DJ Augustine showed up big time game 1 with the Orlando Magic upset the Toronto Raptors. Terry Rozier did have an off year, but I still believe he's in that category. That's what I have to say. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you guys know how I think about him. He played great in the playoffs, averaged double figures all year, great assist man, so on. So that being said, let's jump into the shooting guard spot. The guys that were injured I can't really qualify because I don't know is Andre Roberson, Alan Crabb, Victor Oladipo, J.R. Smith. He had his holdout. He wasn't out for the season. Eachwell Moore, and Wade obviously retired. That being said, once again, number 1 is a man by himself, and that is James Harden. No other shooting guards anywhere near the realm of James Harden. He plays at a whole other level, which is just crazy. The next group, Klay Thompson, Donovan Mitchell, DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. Now, you could kind of balance where the rankings are there, but let me say this. Donovan Mitchell is a stud. He can lead a team as a young player, and he's something very special. The closest we're going to see to Dwayne Wade again. Klay Thompson, you guys know what he does for that Golden State Warriors team and how he keeps them afloat. He is truly a good holding piece, like one of the greatest shooters of all time. DeRozan ran small forward the majority of this year for San Antonio, but he still truly is a shooting guard, only 6'6", 6'7". He truly does belong there. 24/7 guy this year. Bradley Beal, he lit it up and showed that he truly can be a guy Washington could build around. And Devin Booker, we know what he's capable of. A man that can catch fire and stay hot, and is one of the best young players in the NBA. Next group is a man of 2 people, CJ McCollum and Karis LeVert. Once again, McCollum is a huge push for Damian Lillard, and he is a superstar. He outscored Damian even a couple games, and Damian Lillard was playing out of his mind. He just doesn't get attention because it's not flashy points. Now, Karis, you guys saw the way he played in the postseason. 23 points a game against Philadelphia. He was getting back to his normal self, or the stuff we saw in the beginning of the year. He truly is that. I believe that. The next group is Zach LaVine and Lou Williams. They might ask, is LaVine better than LeVert? No. He was a star on a good young team, but he was the main go-to guy. But he still was averaging just about the same as LaVine when it comes down to it. Also, Zach LaVine did deal with some injuries at the end of the year. Now, Lou Williams can light it up, and he might just be with CJ and Karis. I think all 4 of those guys are honestly pretty equal to each other. They could all be in that one group. I just ranked it that way. The next group, number 5, is Malcolm Brogdon, Tim Hardaway Jr., Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, Danny Green, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. A lot of names here. Malcolm Brogdon, as I said before, yes, he's got injuries. We'll see how he comes back, but it's not significant. He will be back soon. But he can play. He was part of one of the most elite shooting groups, and that's the way he ended the season averaging. Tim Hardaway Jr. was averaging 20 plus for most of the season, went to Dallas, had injury issues. He played with a big injury most of the year. Buddy Hield averaged over 20 points a game, almost 21, if not was 21. And he played at a whole other level, brought his game to a whole other level this year. And he's a very good player. Eric Gordon might not have the stats of these other guys, but he averages 16 points a game, while he's the third or fourth scoring option, depending on which way you look at it, between him and Capella. Danny Green does not average a lot, just about 10 points a game, but his defense is key to the Toronto success. Same thing with Marcus Smart. He's an elite defensive player. Jaylen Brown had him lower a little bit, but I'm watching. He does step up with the playoffs, and he's still a very good young player that needs more time developing, more chance, and more opportunity. Next group, J.J. Redick, Avery Bradley, Dion Waiters. Redick struggles in the playoffs, so I couldn't put him in the next group. He could very well be, but he struggles in the playoffs. That's part of this. As a player, you need to perform no matter what it is. Avery Bradley, he's an elite defensive player that does not get credit for the way he's played up and Mike Conley in that backcourt this past season. Then Dion Waiters, he truly can play. You guys underestimate him. He could be a stud and a star. He came back from the injury this year, played fabulous. You guys remember, he was the guy that brought Miami to the playoffs a couple years ago, single-handedly. Now, number 7, Evan Fournier, Gary Harris, Jeremy Lamb, Joe Harris, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Malik Beasley, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Fournier is a 15-point-per-game guy who scores quietly, gets his buckets. Gary Harris, him and Malik Beasley, as I said before, pretty much even players. Both great players for Denver, both young players that can score at a nice level. Lamb had a career year, dominated 15 points a game, came off the bench after All-Star Weekend. That's what James Borrego decided. He did great. I think he's a player that needs to accept a bench role, and he'll be successful in that. Joe Harris, yes, he struggled in the playoffs. That's why I dropped him as well, but he could also fall more because of that. But he still led the NBA in the three-point shooting the entire year, won the three-point contest, and was a 13, about 4-4 kind of guy. Very good player. Bogdan Bogdanovic came off the bench the majority of the year, dropped about 15 points a game. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope played amazing the second half of that season, where he was scoring, he was doing his defense, he was doing what is needed to win games for the LA Lakers. Now the 8th group. Tyreke Evans, he could have been down a lot more, but he played amazing and fabulous in that playoffs where I still put him in the 8th group when he could have been 9 or not even ranked because of only averaging 10 points a game in the regular season. Wesley Matthews is a great player. He struggled in the playoffs, but it's fine. He still was great in the regular season. That's why he is at 8, though. Breen Forbes was a come-out-of-nowhere guy from Michigan State. Plays amazing for San Antonio and Greg Popovich's staff. Great player. San Antonio's not there that had success as well. Then Alonzo Trier and Landry Shamet also was a part of that group. Trier can score about over 10 points a game, and Shamet's 11 points a game since he came to LA Clippers. Both guys are very good young players that will work their way up as they go. Next position is small forward. The only player is Robert Covington that I think he's very good. And if you guys have heard my past podcasts, I've talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm very high on Robert Covington, especially on his defense. But once again, he will not be able to be on the list because he missed a lot of the season due to injury. That being said, let's get right into it. The number 1 spot belongs to 3 guys: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. All 3 are great, not necessarily in specific order. As you guys have caught my past episodes, said Kevin Durant, Giannis, and LeBron. There's a new king in the NBA. So that's what I got number 1. I mean, these guys are self-explanatory. They're monsters. They're beasts. You cannot even compare with them. But then there's 2 guys now, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, that are superstars and have truly risen to the occasion for their respective teams, being Toronto and Oklahoma. Now, I cannot put them in the second group, nor can I put them in the first. They're right in this border group that they're almost at the top group, but they're way better than the 2 guys in the second group. That being said, they're on that borderline of 2 superstars that are right there, that are truly all-star caliber players, but they're not the top of the top. Now, the second group is Jimmy Butler and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton did not earn my respect till later this season when I watched him play, and he's been playing amazing in the playoffs and so on. Jimmy Butler, also we know how he is, a great defensive player, a true all-star player. Now number 3, Danilo Gallinari, Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, and Oubre. Now Ingram, you could consider for the injuries, how do I rank him? But what I saw, if he can continue that, he belongs in this group. He is elite and special and something you guys are going to want to watch out for. He is scary good. Trust me. Jason Tatum, struggled this year. Yes, he took the big jump as people expected after working out with Kobe and so on. But he's not showing up really well in the playoffs, but he has the potential and you see him take over in games. Now, Danilo Gallinari truly is showing why he once was a top 5 pick in the NBA draft, or top 10 pick. He is playing at a very high level this year, being the second leading scorer for the LA Clippers, averaging just about 20 points a game, playing amazing in the playoffs. That's why I gotta say, now Kelly Oubre might be a shock to you guys. He was coming off the bench at the beginning of the season with Washington because of Otto Porter, Bradley Beal, Markieff, so on and so on. We know the situation out there. He comes to Phoenix and he's another kind of player, especially when they started him for those 14 games after the All-Star break. Yes, he also was injured and missed a lot, but he is special, and he is a very good player. He's in that third/fourth category right there. Fourth group is Kyle Kuzma, Harrison Barnes, and Andrew Wiggins. Yes, Wiggins has been passed by another Jayhawk and Kelly Oubre, but Wiggins has all the tools to be a second or third group. Maybe even a first, probably not. But he does have the tools to be a second and third for sure, without a doubt. He needs to buy in and truly reach that point, and I believe he will. If they can get the right management and Ryan Saunders, like I've said before, he will be in that group. Harrison Barnes struggled a little bit with Sacramento after he got traded, but he got traded midseason. He's a very good player. He's going to get incorporated. We'll see once again with Luke Walton what happens there. But I like the idea. I love Harrison Barnes. He's a very good player the way he played at Dallas. He's an all-USA player. We'll see what happens there. Kyle Kuzma, you guys might be wondering, how did I put Ingram in front? Or how is these guys like Gallinari, Wiggins, or Gallinari, Oubre, and all better? Because I think he is a little overrated. Yes, he's older, but I'm not implying that he's older. I'm saying he struggles in games. He can be hot and then cold. And he just doesn't have a lot of the all-around game that these guys have. That's what I got to say about him. Fifth group is Bogdanovich. In terms of Boyan Bogdanovich, not Bogdan, his brother, or not related, but Boyan, Gordon Hayward, Joe Ingles, and Josh Richardson. Bogdanovich stepped up big time for the Indiana Pacers, averaging about 20 points a game once Oladipo went down, but finished the year averaging just a little bit over 18, right? Now, Gordon Hayward obviously had an injury. He once was in the second group, or some people might even consider him with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard group. Obviously, that devastating injury, but he has looked coming closer and closer back to his form. Of course, he's on a super team, so he doesn't get the option to be the main guy, but he's still a very good player. Now, Joe Ingles, a very good player. He was shut down in the playoffs, don't get me wrong. But he still is an all-around. He still got almost triple-double. Assists, rebounds, he does it all. Josh Richardson earned my respect this year. He missed a lot of games as well at the end of the season, but he's a great player, developed. Could be a most improved candidate, and other years at least would be in the top 3. But obviously we know what happened this year with D'Angelo, Siakam, Buddy Hield, John Collins, and De'Aaron Fox, and so forth. Zach LaVine as well in that group. Sixth group: Otto Porter Jr., Marcus Morris, Rudy Gay, and Trevor Ariza. I think that Porter and Gay and Ariza are almost the same players, in my opinion. Gay has stepped up big time. Has finally come back from that Achilles injury from a couple of years ago. He's been starting bench, different roles for him. We'll see where he goes if he leaves in summer. But San Antonio's done a great job with him. Otto Porter stepped up big time for Chicago, and I cannot wait to see how his role continues to be carved out. Now, Marcus Morris, we know the importance he holds that entire Boston Celtics team together as one. You can start him, bring off the bench, you can guard anyone. 3-and-D at an elite level. Trevor Ariza, same thing. That 3-and-D, him and Marcus Morris are a lot alike. A lot of these guys are so similar in this group. He was big for Houston. Didn't really do much for Phoenix, but it was big time for Washington this past year. Seventh group: T.J. Warren, Jay Crowder, Will Barton, and Bazemore. You can call Jay Crowder power forward, but I want to call him a small forward for this group. Great big time player off the bench from Utah. Also started over Favors in the postseason. T.J. Warren's a scoring guy. Yes, I ranked him in front of Josh Jackson and Mikal Bridges because he is a better player theoretically right now. Just he doesn't fit the timeline of the Phoenix Suns, which is why I say he's got to be the guy to go. Will Barton struggled this year because he had so many injuries. There's a lot of adversity. Kent Bazemore struggled because he didn't have opportunities in Atlanta, but he still averaged about 12 to 13 points a game. Now let's go to power forwards. The only guy that's really out this year was Kristaps Porzingis. Number one, there's not many power forwards, honestly. There's a lot of guys that maybe run power forward, but I'm going to list them as small forward or center because of the fact I just don't see them. They're just running that because they're not meant to run that right now because of the game, the way it's changing, and there's not as many power forwards, truly. So number one's a man by himself, not even close. It's Blake Griffin. Man played amazing, sacrificed his body, laid it all out there for that team. I'm proud of what I watched Blake Griffin. He is back and he's a leader, a better leader than he's ever been before, trust me. The second group is Tobias Harris, Marcus Aldridge, Pascal Siakam. Aldridge maybe could be in the mix between Griffin and that second group, but no. He's still a great player, an all-star. Tobias Harris should have been an all-star with the Clippers before he got traded to the East. He's an amazing 3-and-D player. He's getting better every year of his career. And what a player of this caliber has been traded into 5 different teams, might be on the 6th team. Siakam, let me say something. Bleacher Report might have got this part right. I wasn't that impressed by the regular season for the majority of it. But you put him in this postseason, oh my lord. This guy is playing at another level. It is terrific and crazy. I didn't know he had this in him. He truly is an amazing player. He deserves a big contract this summer. Not max, I might be pushing it, but 120, somewhere from the 95 to 120 range, right where he belongs. Next group, Kevin Love, Julius Randle, John Collins, and Marvin Bagley III. Love, he still got it in. It wasn't the right situation. Came back from an injury, then sat out the last couple games. He's a great player. Love's an amazing player. He still got a double-double machine. If he gets in the right situation or Cleveland keeps him and lets him play, he'll be great. Randall stepped up big time. 21 points a game, I believe, yes. Double-double most of the time. Off the bench starting, you can put him wherever he dominates. John Collins, a big step this year. Huge step with the power forward from Atlanta. Him and Trae Young have caused a great young duo. Along Kevin here, you guys know how I feel about that. Adding another pick, so. And Marvin Bagley, the third. You guys know how special he is to me. He's going to be in that number one category in just a couple of years, if not next year. But he'll be number two for sure next year in that category. He's got all the potential. As might say, some of these guys might not be better than right now. Oh, trust me, he is. Watch the games in the end of the season. Watch the way when he played what he did. Man went off. You didn't even put some respect on Marvin Bagley's name. I promise you, he's coming. He is coming. Number 4, Draymond Green, Paul Millsap favors, and I balk because might think a lot of you guys may not be as good as the next group I'm going to say that either. But Draymond, I think I learned something, guys. I cracked the code of Golden State. Here's what's going on. These guys don't want to play in the regular season. I called it a little bit, but I know it for sure. Draymond was horrible in the regular season, so I'll be honest. Was he not? You put him in the postseason, triple doubles, double digits almost every game, lockdown defender. This is the Draymond that's elite. This is the Draymond that deserves close to a max, if not a max. So yes, he is right there. Paul Millsap, he can play. Yes, he showed the big time on and off because of the rotation. The way Denver just doesn't care who scores. All of them are humble. All of them are good teammates. They find who the hot hand is. That's why he doesn't do that. But trust me, he's got game and he can see it when he's the guy that's supposed to score that night. Favors, I believe he probably should not have been benched for Jay Crowder in the playoffs. I think that's what Quinn Snyder went wrong. Favors is a very good player that people underestimate a lot. Serge Ibaka, a lot of people probably call him a center, specifically a center now, but I don't. Ibaka is a very good power forward that can block shots. He could start, come off the bench, whatever he's done. He's found a nice role in Toronto now. Number 5 spot, you got Aaron Gordon, Lauri Markkanen, Sabonis, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Triple J. He didn't play a lot because he got hurt, but Jaren Jackson's coming, guys. He is big time. He is a big time rookie. He's someone you can build a franchise around in Memphis. Sabonis, he keeps going. He was horrible in the postseason, but he's got young talent. You can see the way he finishes. Great 6-man. I think next year, if I'm Indiana, you got to start Turner and Sabonis together. Oladipo at the shooting guard whenever he gets healthy, whoever your draft pick is, you fit them in. Aaron Holiday deserves more minutes kind of starting. Find some of the young guys. Let that young guys go. I'll get into the offseason preview later in another episode. Lauri Markkanen, you guys know how I like him. He's someone that's rising. A lot of these young guys are going to be up this soon. Just a matter of time it's just a matter of the food chain. Where does it go and where do they come? Lauri Markkanen, but he's got a dominant kind of game. He had to sit out because of that scare, the injury scared the heart and all that. He'll be fine. The health issues is covered, like they all said. Aaron Gordon took a step back after the guy's big deal this summer, but he still is a very good player. He's going to have another breakout year. Playoffs he's played very well in. Number 6 is Thad Young, Jeremy Grant, Bobby Portis, Nikola Mirotic, and PJ Tucker. Tucker, he's going to score like the rest of these guys I just listed. They're all guys are high double digits. Tucker's one of the best defensive forwards in the NBA. He's the reason Houston wins games, especially when they had all those injuries. Didn't miss a game this year. Mirotic, 3-and-D. In the beginning of the year, you might put him up with a 3-and-4 the way he was knocking down those shots for New Orleans. Took a big step back, dealt with injuries this year, but he's still a great player. Milwaukee needed him big time today when he had 12 points, big time contribution. They still lost badly, but still. Bobby Portis, I like him. He's got a good game. Washington made a good trade. You guys know how I feel about that. But he's going to run the power forward center spot, depending on where you look at it. I'm calling power forward for this. Jeremy Grant, great player for Oklahoma. Maybe he was overpaid, and wasn't Melo's fault. I don't believe so. It was the coaching of Billy Donovan. But Grant, still a good 3-and-D player, still a young player. He's developing. Thad Young, he's just a good all-around player. He's a good that chemistry kind of guy. He can hold around, win games to get you to the playoffs like Indiana did this year. Nate McMillan did a great job. You guys know. Obviously not the outcome they wanted, being swept by Boston, but still got to that point without Victor Oladipo. For the center, Henson, Wendell Carter, Dwight Howard, Mohamed Bamba, DeMarcus Cousins, and Yusuf Nurkic, all guys that cannot list because of injuries. A lot of centers went down this year. A lot of guys that could be in the top group. Centers are very deep in my opinion. Number 1, Embiid, Jokic, Towns, and Anthony Davis. 4 guys that are phenomenal, freaks of nature, superstars. Davis could be a power forward, but he ran center for the majority. That's where I think he's going to run for the rest of his career. All those guys, it's not much debate. They're all MVP caliber players. They're all superstars. Number 2, Drummond and Gobert. Drummond's one of the greatest rebounders of our time. Rudy Gobert is a shot blocking machine, rebounding. He does everything. He also added a lot more scoring to his game this year. As for Clint Capella, Steven Adams, Vucevic, they carved out that 3rd spot. Vuce could be possibly in that second group the kind of year, but playoffs disrupted that. I had to drop him back to 3. Steven Adams is a guy that didn't have big numbers, but he's crucial to how Oklahoma's defense, energy, he scores the points needed. It doesn't miss. He just should get more shots, honestly. That's why I'm still putting him there. Capella's an amazing defensive player, shot blocker, rebounder, putback, can throw lobs, and he's not necessarily a talent player, but he just fits perfectly with Houston, where he's a great player in the system, and he looks as if he's the third kind of tier of centers. Fourth, DeAndre Ayton, don't get me wrong, he will be in the number one tier sometime soon. Just this year dealt with injuries, not his best self, couldn't shoot from anywhere. It wasn't necessarily a 2020 kind of guy like Drummond either, where he could shoot, or an elite rim protector. Didn't even average a block a game. Horford, one of the best defensive players. You could move him up because of the defense, but I'm not. He holds that Boston team together. For a better regular season, we might move him up. Valanciunas, you guys know how I feel about that. Yes, he looks like Travis Kelce, but that's not why. Going to Memphis, played phenomenal. Struggled in the beginning of the year of Toronto because he was hurt. Comes back to Memphis in that trade, amazing. Hassan Whiteside, elite shot blocker. He needs more playing time or he's going to get moved this summer. We'll see if he picks up that option or not, because as he said, I don't care necessarily about money as much as I care about my minutes in playing. So, that might hint at something. If they can get Bam to space the floor and shoot better, maybe we can pair both those guys up in Spoelstra's offense, which would be a nice adjustment. Josh Richardson, got Dragic, if he comes back, he said he's going to be up in there. Hasn't decided yet. We'll see. Fifth group, DeAndre Jordan, I think he could be up there. He's a great rebounder, still at a high level. Don't discredit him. I'm not discrediting nothing about DeAndre Jordan. Miles Turner, Enes Kanter, Tristan Thompson, and Brook Lopez. Miles Turner is one of the best shot blockers. He was the last of the NBA in shot blocking, almost 200 blocks this year. Kanter's a double-double machine, stepped up big time in the wake of Nurkic's gruesome injury. Hope he's doing the best in recovery, by the way, for Nurkic. Tristan Thompson, when he played this year in the beginning of the year, he was dominating, double-double after double-double. And Brook Lopez, we know what he's capable of. A big-time scorer, can space the floor and shoot, and a great shot blocker. Underrated, in fact. Sixth group, Marc Gasol. Now, he could be fifth group. I might just move him up there, to be honest. But he's right here for now. Because he's a great defensive player, but his scoring has gone down a lot. Mitchell Robinson is one of the best young shot blocking, and it's paying me to do it, but I'm ranking Mitchell Robinson in front of Jared Allen for the time being. Jared Allen needs to work on that, get stronger. Mitchell Robinson's just a freak of nature length. I think all these guys are going to be up so high, these young guys. There's so many young talent in the NBA that I've just listed. It's crazy. It's truly crazy, guys. JaVale McGee stepped up big time in London. He's a shot blocker. He can score. He can rebound. He can do everything. Truly, on my respect, and Montrezl Harrell. I'm going to get into the playoffs a little bit, recap, but my lord. Whew. That is the guy I respect. He plays with so much passion, love, and energy for the game. He's what made the Clippers win games. I love that kind of player. He's crucial. He's a big-time player. And I love Montrezl Harrell. Trez Harrell, keep doing your thing. You're a monster and a beast, and make those Warriors punish the way you did. You keep coming back stronger next year. It's going to be scary. Seventh group, therefore, Jared Allen, Willie Cauley-Stein. It was a great matchup when these guys played. I think one of Jared Allen's best games other than the Houston game 2020. Jared Allen's a great shot blocker. He doesn't fair test anybody, but he's only 21 years old. He just turned 21 a couple of days ago. He's coming along. Don't worry. A couple of years, he's gonna be in that top 1, 2, 3 group for sure, without a doubt. Cauley-Stein, I'm not sure. He might be plateauing here talent-wise. We'll see where he goes this summer. But that is it. That is my triangle of the positions. You're not going to want to miss what's coming up next. Special guests of the week, Compton Magic guard and South Mountain leader, Isaiah Zay Freeney, comes on the SchuZ Views to discuss a whole lot of topics. It's going to be a great one. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. I'm extremely excited to welcome Compton Magic guard and a good friend, Isaiah Freeney. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So let's start with the first thing then. I mean, you're in the middle of club season right now. How's it like playing with Compton?
It's a completely different experience, honestly. Growing up just playing in Arizona club ball, I had my fun and everything, and like I knew everyone around me and all the teams we were playing against. And playing with Compton Magic on this big national stage, it's really a whole different monster. So many of the top kids in the country were playing against every single game. You can't take anyone lightly over here, and you got to fight for everything you get, for your minutes, for wins, for respect, and for like college scholarships and stuff like that. So yeah,
for sure. I mean, I know that's for sure definitely one of the things that people all across the country and probably around the world know and respect. I mean, that's always one of the biggest club teams out there for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy being a part of it, man. We walk into a gym, everyone knows who we are, but it also brings a huge target on our backs, walking in with that shirt on, putting on those uniforms. I enjoy it a lot.
For sure. So what's some of your best memories so far playing in Compton in the last couple of years?
Honestly, just the family type of environment. Coming in last year on the 15U team as a freshman,
Hmm.
and every single person on the program welcomed me with open arms. I had best time of my life. We went to Atlanta and New York, and we played. I played against some of the top players in the nation. Played in front of Coach K, North Carolina coach. That was honestly probably my best memory.
Hmm.
Um, and just this weekend, we had a home cooked meal from one of our coach's aunts, and honestly, that small event, that's something I always remember and love about the
Hmm.
organization.
For sure, that's awesome. So then I know last year, I mean, you just kind of touched up on when you just went to Atlanta and all. You guys gotta go see the NBA studio, right? With
Yeah,
TNT.
TNT where Shaq and Kenny and them be at. Yeah,
Wow, how was that?
it was super cool because you know, all those we saw the behind the scenes stuff, and we actually went to where like they go before they head on set and stuff like that. So they have like a little lounge area themselves,
Hmm.
and they have like some really cool pictures of them with like other former NBA players and stuff like that. And we saw how they how the special effects work and how like Kenny's big screen works and stuff like that. So that was
Hmm.
that was super fun.
Wow, that's awesome. So then I know you and Dalen been playing together for a couple of years now. How's it like playing with them and training with him, working out with some guys like, of course, of his caliber?
Man, Dalen, he's a first of all, he's a great friend to me. He's a great guy overall. I
Hmm.
wouldn't ask for a better friend. Working out with him, we push each other every single day. We text all the time about stuff on the court and off the court. Um, I'm so proud of everything he's accomplished with himself, and I'm looking forward to having that same success coming up real soon.
For sure. So I guess we can kind of touch up on, I mean, going back from when you first started playing. When did you start playing, and what kind of wanted to make you start playing basketball?
Honestly, I started playing when I was a baby, like 2 or 3 years old. My parents would have put a ball in my hands.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, watching like Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire growing up, and like watching Allen Iverson highlights and stuff like that. That was really a big motivating factor for me to play. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So then, was your first club team Diplomats, right?
Yep, first club team.
Hmm. Yeah, 'cause I mean, I know that's when you and me first started meeting was when I first started playing and all. I mean, there weren't many teams in Arizona for club when we first started playing. I mean, it was
Yeah,
Ballers, there's Diplomats, there wasn't much. I mean, we played each other almost every weekend in state and when we went out of state too. I mean,
yeah. We saw each other a lot.
hmm. So how was that? What was some of your favorite moments of playing with the Diplomats?
Um, Honestly, just how fun the games were. Like we played a really fast style of play. Um, my dad was my coach. That was probably one of my best moments thinking back about it.
Hmm.
Playing for him was really fun, and all my teammates were still close friends to this day. And yeah,
Yeah.
relationships.
So then, obviously, getting to high school now, South Mountain. What made you want to go there?
Honestly, going into my high school choice, South Mountain was never an option. So
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy when I talk about it.
Wow.
How I'm there now. But last minute, my former diplomat teammate Kyrie Ware, he's a junior this year.
Hmm.
He called me, him and his family. We all talked about it. I had a meeting with Coach Jay, my current coach there,
Yeah.
and he talked about everything he was wanting to accomplish, and it sounded exactly what I would want to get out of my high school experience playing.
Hmm.
And I'm there now, so I'm having fun with it.
For sure. So, what were some of your other options you were considering then for high school?
Well, I was considering going to probably Brophy, St. Mary's, and DV, Desert Vista.
For sure. So, obviously, I think you guys only lost one senior this year, right?
Yeah, we only lost one.
So, you guys, I mean, I mean, you guys have had one of the best seasons that South Mountain's had in a long time, making the playoffs and got 19 wins. I mean, you, Deotis, Kyrene, I mean, a lot of you guys are still coming back. What's your guys' expectations for this next year coming up?
We're going. We say we're going to ASU. That's where they hold the championships at. So we're going to ASU. Um, we have huge expectations for ourselves coming back. We have no excuses to make. We're young. There's no experience. There's nothing like that. We were just in the playoffs last year. We know exactly what to expect now.
Hmm.
Um, we look forward to playing the same teams in the playoffs, like the Apollos and the Millenniums and stuff like that. They'll bring up back a lot of guys. So we're looking forward to that matchup again, and
For sure.
looking forward to a different outcome.
For sure. I know something that's special about you, especially, is that you obviously prioritize your grades a lot. Where you're, I
Hmm.
mean, you were all academic first team, and you had a 4.1 GPA. So, what kind of keeps you going and inspires you to want to keep your grades that high?
Growing up, my mom and dad, that was really the first thing they stressed about me in life was my grades. They let me enjoy basketball and stuff like that, but my grades were the top priority. So I just keep that same mindset that my grades in basketball they go hand in hand, and I got to make sure that I'm staying on top of my grades as much as I do my basketball game.
For sure. So, I mean, that's obviously. I mean, I don't believe. Do you have any offers yet from anyone?
No, unfortunately, I don't have any yet. It's a motive. That's definitely a motivation for me. Seeing a lot of other 2021 guys getting those big offers and stuff like that. I love it. So
Hmm.
I'll be getting them soon.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, for someone that has your kind of grades and still being a captain as a sophomore of your team, getting those kind of grades, I mean, that's definitely gonna attract many scholarships and stuff down the line.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Mm. So next thing we can talk about then is you were you got first team. You're the first team underclassman of the year. How was it? What was it like getting that award?
It was very rewarding because going up against those varsity guys, man. And last year as a freshman, they didn't know who I was really, so I wasn't really getting like denied full court and like double teamed in certain areas of the court. So coming into this year, I had to make a big jump to getting used to that. Coming in every game with a
For
target on my
sure.
back, they knew who I was, and accepting that challenge was big for me. So getting that acknowledgement was really rewarding for me.
That's awesome. So what would be one aspect of your game that you'd really want to work on for your next season?
Um, I got two things. One for sure being um I want to get my ball handling better. Like it's decent right now, but I want to get it better. And the defensive end.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, that's always. I feel like I always improve on the defensive end. Really, just my effort on defense can improve. So I'm looking forward to that and just staying mentally focused at all times.
For sure. I mean, I know for sure you're probably your highlight and your best thing is probably your shooting. I mean, you've been able to do this since I was playing you at Diplomats. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you were always shooting the deepest threes and they always went in.
yep,
But so, is there
yeah.
any player that you kind of model your game after?
I love Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard. Personally, I model myself after him and on the court.
Of
He's so
course, yeah.
underrated. He's so underrated as a guard, and he comes from a very tough background. And how he holds himself accountable for all his actions is it's amazing. And on the
Hmm.
court, just how he's able to create space to hit his long jumpers, like you say, I shot when I was younger and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So for him to be able to be so amazing off the court and on the court, that's definitely someone I look up to.
Hmm. I mean, definitely. I mean, just watching the way he's taking over in the playoffs is insane for a guy that's not necessarily one of those freaks of nature like Giannis or
Yep.
one of those guys. I mean, he still just could dominate a game and pour in 50 points and take down two superstars with one guy. I mean, it's something special.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. It's crazy what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. So, who'd be the best player you've ever played against?
Best player I've played against.
Or you could say like your top five or something.
Um, well, starting, I gotta go Duran. Duran
Hmm.
Holmes. He's a monster, man. It's crazy.
For sure.
Everything we did, he was just toppling over us. Super strong. He could handle it a little bit, shoot it a little bit. So he's definitely one of the toughest. I'm trying to think. Probably. Oh, last year. All right. So my freshman year, he's at Phoenix College right now, I believe. Donovan Reagan. He went to Fairfax High School.
Okay.
6'6" monster, uh, jumping out the gym. He was definitely someone we game planned super hard for, and it just didn't matter. He was doing whatever he wanted on the court. And he that playing against him really motivated me to elevate my game too. Um,
Hmm.
seeing how seeing how he handled everything and how good he was. So that really
Yeah.
motivated me this year going into games and stuff like that. Remembering that. Um, I'm trying to think of his name right now. I think it's Carter Murphy out of Arcadia High School. We
Okay.
played. Yeah, he's a Air Force commit, and
Hmm.
we played him this year in like a preseason tournament, and
Okay.
he torched us for sure. Seeing how, but the way he played, I really liked it because it was like he was at his own pace. He didn't let us speed him up at all, and that's
Hmm.
something I definitely wanted to achieve going into my later years in high school. Justice Jackson's always a tough one, sophomore guard out of Millennium too.
Hmm. For sure.
Um, just how shifty he is, how he can get his shot off at any time. He's
Hmm.
really a tough one. And
Yeah.
yeah, those are guys that come to my mind when I think about toughest to guard and to handle playing against.
Hmm. I mean, that's something. I mean, a lot of these episodes. Whenever I have podcasts, I always talk about some of the best players across the state and all. I mean, they all list off because they're usually from different classes and different groups. I mean, the amount of kids that are coming out of Arizona is insane. I mean, every class has got three, four, five, or more D1 or high D1 players.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I was just talking about this with someone the other day, like the history of Arizona and how it's really starting to change. Like we got a lot of D1 talent coming out right now, and
Hmm.
that's amazing. We all pushing each other. We all support each other, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I know. I mean, just growing up, I mean, the only guys that you can really think of that came from here was like Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye. I
Yep.
mean, now it's like you got guys getting number one, number two picks in the drafts coming from Arizona. I mean, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
growing up in Arizona too, so that's really
Hmm.
cool. Yep.
For sure. So, what would you say would be the best player you've ever played with?
Best player I've played with.
Hmm.
Um, I gotta say, Josh Baker. Josh Baker. I'll tell you, I'm better than Josh, but he's the best. He's the best player I've played with.
Hmm.
Just how hard he works. The unseen hours he puts in. Always texts me to go to the gym with him, even to this day. He's really elevated his game to the next level, and he's going to Hutchinson. That's a very good college, and he's looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing him play there,
For
and
sure.
I've always looked up to him as like a big brother. So yeah,
Hmm. For sure. So, what would you say would be your dream college you could possibly play for?
dream college. I'd say I'd say probably Princeton. I like Princeton a lot.
Hmm.
Texas Tech. I have family from Texas Tech. I've been there. I went to their camp growing up, and
Okay.
I love Texas Tech. They're really cool,
Hmm.
and what Coach Beard is doing over there is amazing.
For sure.
Um, yeah. So Princeton and Texas Tech. Those are two schools I'm looking at. Of course,
Hmm.
I'm open to any and every college, um,
Yeah.
looking into me and stuff like that. But those two are my favorite.
Without a doubt. So, what would you say? So, obviously, I mean, you're going to go to college at some level, for sure, probably D1. But after college, would you want to continue playing basketball, either professional in the league, G League overseas, or is there some other kind of job you're looking into doing?
So yeah. Right now, my plan is to play professionally.
Hmm.
Um, I love the game so much. I don't think I could just drop it like that straight
For
after
sure.
college. So I had to pursue it after college. And then when I'm done playing professionally, I'm gonna look into becoming a contract lawyer. So be like an agent and
Hmm.
staying in the athletic field and stuff like that. And also, I want to be an impact in my community. So opening up maybe like a boys and girls club or something like that, creating a foundation. That's something I really look forward to doing
Hmm.
in the future. So yeah, those are my big plans.
That's awesome. So, who would you say would be one of your biggest role models? It doesn't need to be necessarily on the court or a basketball player. They're just someone in your life that's your biggest role model.
Um, of course, my dad's my biggest role model. Of course, everything he does for me and my
Hmm.
family, it's amazing what he does. He drops everything to take me to workouts, where I want to go with my friends. It's really amazing. I love him so much. But thinking to someone besides my dad, probably Timmy Allen. Timmy Allen
Okay.
went to Red Mountain.
Hmm.
He he took me under his wing my freshman year when I joined Compton Magic. Um, he was just getting out, but he was still working out with us and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
working out with him, it really just elevated my game to the next level. Um, I thought I used to work hard and stuff like that, but it was nothing compared to what Timmy did and does right
Hmm.
now still. So he's definitely my biggest influence. Just taught me how to really work hard and to stay consistent with my work and get better at every day. So
For sure. All right, so let's get into some more of. Let's talk about NBA and NCAA basketball now. Who would you say is your favorite NCAA player?
favorite NC definitely Marcus Howard. I watch a lot of Marcus Howard highlights and stuff like that. I watch his games. I'm very excited for him to come back his senior year and look to make a bigger impact in the NCAA. He's gonna definitely blow up even more this year coming up. I feel it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's on the break. He could possibly break a whole bunch of NCAA records this year. Should be crazy.
Yep.
And who would you say would be your favorite NCAA team then?
Texas Tech. I was rooting for them all season. Sad they didn't pull off a national championship, but even getting to that big stage, no one expected that from them.
Oh yeah,
and,
for sure.
That was definitely big for the city too. I know the city love the Red Raiders and stuff like that. So I was happy for the city.
For sure. Are you a Jarrett Culver fan then?
Yeah, Jarrett Culver. Yep.
So who would you say would be your favorite NBA player? Damian?
Yeah, Dame for sure.
Who would you say would be your favorite NBA team then?
My favorite NBA team is the Oklahoma City Thunder. So watching that series, that was very tough to watch. I didn't know who to cheer for. You know, I was happy every time Dame made a shot, but I was also hurting at the same time, putting OKC in a deeper hole. So that was a fun series to watch. Though that was definitely a fun series.
Is Oklahoma just because like your family, or is it just you just like Westbrook and Paul George or other guys?
Yeah, I like Westbrook, Paul George, and I was a big it's hard to say this, but I was a big KD fan before he left. So so I didn't want to switch teams, so I just stayed with OKC. So I ride with him.
For sure. So who do you think is going to win the Eastern Conference now?
That's tough. I really like what Philly did tonight. Philly showed me that they're maturing as a team and stuff like that. So I really like the direction they're heading, and I believe they'll be the ones to beat. Coming out of that series, I think they're going to win that series, and then I think they're going to be the favorites going up against Milwaukee or Boston, whoever comes out of that series, which is going to be amazing too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But
for sure,
just that dominating factor that Boston showed me, that was crazy. I did not see that coming at all. Boston really came out the gates.
Oh yeah, I mean they struggled this entire season. I mean nonstop media, and all of a sudden that Kyrie pace control like he usually does in the postseason, and 5-0 so far.
Yeah. I mean, so they really can't tell him nothing right now. So.
Then how about the Western Conference? Who do you think is coming out?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Golden State. Unfortunately, I love what Harden's doing over there in Houston, but I don't think those guys they're tough. They're really tough. And I love Dame. I think Dame's going to see him in the Western Conference Finals, put up 40 points a night, put on a show, but I don't think they got enough firepower to keep up 7 games with the Warriors. So Warriors going to be in the finals too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Who do you think is going to win it then?
Honestly, if Philly keeps on this path, I like Philly to win it.
For real?
I love the turnaround they've had as an organization, coming from, because growing up they were last seed, number 1 draft picks, failed draft picks, and failed trades. So seeing how they turned the whole organization around and got superstars all around, great role players. I really hope for the best for Philly right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean that's something that for me, I mean I'm a Brooklyn fan, so it was definitely tough that series. I mean it's that not only was it just a fact of like they were winning or whatever. I mean of course the fact that it was a rivalry. I mean I love Philly too because of Joel Embiid being a Jayhawk, but I mean I hope the best that they can go as far as they can. I mean honestly I'm obviously rooting for them from here on out unless anything else happens, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very good finish for this NBA playoffs. I'm really excited for it.
Oh yeah, it's probably the most interesting playoffs we've had in a couple years now.
Oh yeah, for sure. With all the star power, the league's at a very good point right now. I like it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you, Isaiah, and I can't wait to see what path God has set up for you and your career. Best of luck to the rest of your club season and your high school career. And if you'd ever like to come on, just let me know.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Zach. Thanks for having me, man.
No
Good
problem.
luck with the rest of the podcast.
Thanks, bro. God bless.
God bless.
Lots of shuffling is going down in front offices and around the league. I've got what my takes are and my updates about what's going on that you guys are not going to want to miss. Trust me, I've got some things to say about what's going on in Sacramento as well. Stay tuned to see what I've got to say. Next thing I'm going to get into is the coaching updates. So with that being said, the first thing to talk about is the Phoenix Suns. As we know, they fired Igor Kokoskov, and it was after his very first year. Now, I did call that if you guys do remember from past episodes. Also, the reports now that the Phoenix Suns have decided and have completely cleaned the house in terms of the coaching staff, trainers, a lot of things, anything besides the head trainer and Nelson. Now, they are intent, the main priority is Monty Williams. The reason they might have fired Igor was because they truly do believe they have a good chance of getting Monty Williams. Now, also, Portland's two assistant coaches, Tibbetts and Vanderpool, are both expected to meet with the Phoenix Suns. Now, the other competition for the Phoenix Suns, I love Monty Williams, but LA Lakers are in high pursuit of Monty Williams as well, as they're taking the second interview, bringing Buss, Rambis, Pelinka, and a company all to Toronto to go meet with Monty Williams as he faces off against the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. Now, Jason Kidd also got an interview, and he said that he would love to be the coach of LA Lakers. Tyronn Lue also got a second interview, in which now people are saying there was an emotional connection between them. So there's a lot of options going for LA. You guys know who I think. I don't think any of these guys should be. I think Monty Williams would be a good coach, but I think they need to go get a good splash. Allow LeBron to be coached by a superstar. The star rumors of Pat Riley, we'll see. He has turned it down, but you never know. It's the media. Now, as for Cleveland, they also have interviewed both Portland assistant coaches, Tibbetts and Vanderpool, and Alex Jensen, the Utah Jazz assistant head coach. Now, for me, Cleveland, they got an interesting spot. I've said before, there's so many different options you can look at. And I'm fine with it. As long as these teams take a long time to interview, things are going to go well. Now, the dilemma. Kings hired a guy that you guys know how fond I am of, Luke Walton. I love the hiring. I think he was the perfect hiring for the Sacramento core. He's a great young coach to build up with these guys like Marvin, Fox, Barnes, Willie Cauley-Stein, Bogdanovich, and so on, right? But there's an issue now. He has an assault case against him that occurred before being hired by the LA Lakers back in 2016. Now, Vlade Divac, and I quote, he said he's unaware and had no previous knowledge of Luke Walton and what he did. Now, the NBA has conducted an investigation into this along with Sacramento Kings to see what happened. Now, I pray this is an instance that this did not occur. That would be a terrible thing to hear. And let me be honest. I don't look at people as guilty until they're proven. The innocent are proven guilty. In my opinion, in almost all cases, they are innocent until proven guilty. So right now, in my eyes, I view Luke Walton saying he's innocent until proven guilty. That's the way I think it should be. Instead of just blaming people for something they did or did not do, costing someone his job until it's truly proven and he's convicted in court. Now, if he is convicted, he needs to get the heck out of the NBA and Sacramento Kings right away. That stuff is not tolerated in the NBA, NFL, MLB, whatever it is, that is not tolerated and that needs to get out. Is that understood? It would be ridiculous to say that he's still there. Irrational. It would be foolish. There's no way Luke Walton remains the head coach of that if he is convicted. But as of right now, he's the Sacramento Kings head coach, and I'm a huge fan of that hiring. You guys know how I love that. I think he might have been the hottest kind of trade chip for them, or coaching chip to go get. Once again, now, that is something that I'm going to talk about, and I'm very much against Sacramento for that, in terms of Luke Walton, if that happens. But, as of right now, like I said, he is the perfect coach and the perfect hiring for them there. Now, you go back and look. Once again, supposedly, they still like Billy Donovan out in Oklahoma. You guys know how I feel about that? No. That is ridiculous. I mean, slow down now. He does not belong there. Whatsoever. That is not his job. He's not supposed to be there. No, he's got to go. They got to get a new guy in that they know how to coach these guys and bring them to where the potential is. Because the first run is not the potential Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Are you kidding me? Heck no. They are a championship or they are a conference championship team. Ridiculous. Now also Terry Stotts, if they get to the conference championship, he will keep his job. But if something happens from now to the conference championship and they don't win games or they get swept, it starts him to be on the hot seat as well. And Damian might be moved. But that's another topic for another discussion. Right now, they are looking amazing. They're winning games, swept or won all but one game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, playing amazing basketball. We'll see what happens, but for right now, that's what I gotta say. These are your coaching updates as of this point in this week. I'm gonna keep you guys up to date on my other shows at night. Stay tuned to see what's going on around the NBA. But this is what the coaching moves and what the hirings are looking like as of this moment in time. Round 1 is in the books. Round 2 is getting going. What does SchuZ have to say about this? Stay tuned because you're not going to miss who I think is advancing and how Some people impressed and made me irritated at them from the round one. Stay tuned to what I have to say. Alright guys, let's get right into this. I'm going to go into round one recap of the NBA players and then hit up round two preview for you guys. We'll start with the Western Conference. The Golden State Warriors defeated the LA Clippers 4-2 in the series. Golden State, Kevin Durant showed up big time. He's the reason they won the series. Curry, all these guys didn't play as well. Draymond did play big time. Klay stepped down. Iguodala stepped up. As for Clippers, we saw a brilliant performance off the bench by JaMychal Green. Of course, Lou Williams was dominant, and Montrezl Harrell earned the respect of Draymond Green. I'm proud to see that Draymond truly is always show this. Draymond truly does care only about hustle, energy, and he loves these players as long as they do that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander showed up big time. Gallinari played great, so forth. Now let's get to the next game. Game 7 went down between Denver and San Antonio, the 2-7. Denver obviously came out 4-3 after a breakdown by San Antonio, which never happened by Greg Popovich. I don't know why they didn't foul, but Derek White showed up big time. DeRozan, Aldridge, fabulous. Forrest contributed about 10 points every single time. Podol showed up pretty good game, to be honest. Mills was solid. Gay had on and off. Denver, Jokic, wow. He truly went on a national stage and showed everyone who he is. Murray and Harris bounced around all series long. Beasley, Will Barton did not play that well whatsoever. Millsap bounced around as well. But like I said, Denver is built around a team that cares truly and only about winning the game, which is why they're going to be successful. All right, going to the next series. Portland versus Oklahoma. Portland defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 4-1 in the series. Portland's a 3 seed, Oklahoma's a 6 seed. Westbrook played great for a lot of it, but also was horrible in a lot. Paul George there was a lot of injury stuff going on. Billy Donovan does not need to be there. We don't need to go into that. Markieff averaging 3 minutes a game, that's ridiculous. Illogical. I don't know what he was thinking. Portland, Damian Lillard. My Lord have mercy. Damian Lillard. He's a supermax player. I've been saying this for a while now. Tweeting out, commenting it, talking about my podcast. How many times have I said this? He is elite, and he's a go-getter. He's the closest we're ever going to see. If not, he might just have it. The Mamba mentality. Giannis has it too, but it's a different way. The way Damian gets locked in, he doesn't showboat, he doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's Dame time, but he doesn't need to celebrate to show it. He plays at a whole other level when he's locked in. You can see his eye. He don't even blink. He goes at you and shoots shots like that game winner to knock Oklahoma out of the playoffs. No one else has the guts to do that, I promise you. That was something that only a man would do. That was historically great. Houston beat Utah 4-1 in the series. No, I thought Utah was winning that. He just showed up and proved me wrong. Yeah, they shut down Harden. But Ingles was not good. Mitchell struggled a lot. Gobert struggled a lot. Favors got bent for no reason. Korver didn't play. O'Neal played great. But Houston, of course, Harden still dominated. And one of his worst games of the career started 20-some points and they got a W. Capella, great. Chris Paul, great. Eric Gordon, great. So, what do we have next? Houston was Golden State. I'll hit that up in a minute. As the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee swept Detroit 4-0. I earn all my respect for Blake Griffin. Reggie Jackson looked back to his normal self. He looked healthy. Drummond struggled tremendously. Kennard showed up big time. Ellington was outrageously bad. Langston Galloway played solid. Ishmael had a couple good games. But Milwaukee, Giannis didn't have to do that much. They just destroyed them. Sterling Brown showed up big time, filling a big hole in the loss of Malcolm Brogdon, although it didn't pan out so well today against Boston in the next round, but we'll get into that in a minute. Toronto defeated Orlando 4-1. Leonard, 27 points, almost 28 points a game. Siakam, 22, dominated. Vucevic was not good. 11.2 points a game and 8 rebounds compared to his 20 and 12. Went down to everything. Gordon was solid. Augustine was good, especially in the first game. Ross was 13-2. I don't know what happened to him. He earned my respect a little bit to the defense, but he just didn't get a lot of playing time. I don't know what Clifford was thinking in that terms. Philly won 4-1 against Brooklyn. Obviously, it was a very emotional series. Ended with a bunch of guys getting ejected in that series. Rodions, Kurucs, John and Musa, Greg Monroe, Jonah Bolden, so on and so forth. There's a lot of drama. So many handles, so many ejections, so many fines. Point is, that was a great series, great fight. But Philly, of course, is a super team. And we'll see how this turns out. They dominated after the Game 1 mishap, just like Toronto did Orlando. Boston swept Indiana 4-0. Indiana struggled. Bogdanovich got his groove a little bit, and they finally got over 100 points. Evans was the only really bright spot. Turner disappeared. Sabonis disappeared. Thad Young disappeared. Boston had everyone show up, showing off that depth. Now let's get into this. Round 2 preview. In the East, you got the 1 versus 4 seed, Milwaukee versus Boston. And boy, does Boston look back, boys. Wow. They're proving me wrong. They're proving me wrong, folks. Boston is balling. They're balling. They got their groove back, and they didn't have Marcus Smart. Now, I'll give you guys a preview, but first, let me say this. Boston did win the first game 112-90. I want to do a preview of the second round. but I couldn't do it because it would have been enough days in between the podcasts. But let me tell you this: Irving 26 and 11, Horford at 20. Giannis had one of his worst games this season by far, and worst loss to Milwaukee at home this entire year. Boston, now listen to this stat: Boston held Indiana to 13.2 points per 100 possessions fewer than they did in the regular season, which means that their defense is getting to a whole nother level. Now, Antetokounmpo has been best guarded by Horford this entire season, by most teams. Okay? Now this. Bucks did win the series, though, 2-1 in the regular season, by a total margin of 174 to 117. Not high scoring, but they did great. Now, of course, no Marcus Smart, no Brogdon. Brogdon's for sure at least 2 games. We'll see what Smart is, see what them is. But I think it's still going to go Milwaukee in 7. This is just a one-time thing, I think. Giannis is bouncing back, trust me. Next thing, Philadelphia, Toronto. Boy, was that first game just a wreck. 108 to 95, Toronto. Leonard at 45 and 11. Siakam 24. I'm not even going to talk about no stats on Philadelphia. He only had 20 points, and Beat only had 16. Good lord, no. It was horrible. Oh, this was the first matchup we saw, though, since the trade deadline, in which obviously Toronto added Marc Gasol and pieces like that. And then obviously on the other side, Philadelphia added Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, Mike Scott, Jonathan Simmons, and the list goes on and on. Now, 3 versus 2 right now. That's what it is. 76ers, Embiid has been 8 for 28, that's 29% shooting against Marc Gasol this past season. When he's on Memphis. They didn't play against each other against Toronto, like I said, but when Marc Gasol was on Memphis. That's the worst shooting against any other team, against any other player in the NBA this season for Joel Embiid. Now, Toronto, listen to this stat. They're minus 13 when Siakam is on the floor and Leonard or Lowry are out. That is not good. They need Leonard or Lowry because of leadership there. 76ers is the only team to start the starters in both the second and fourth quarter. Now, it's the complete opposite for Toronto, so there's going to be a whole bunch of different mix-ups in the lineups going to have to change, or Nick Nurse might have to change something. Brett Brown, depending on who's winning the series, will have to do. Now, in the regular season, Toronto won the series 3-1. We'll see what prevails. In my opinion, I do have the Toronto Raptors advancing. I know I said it, Brooklyn or Philadelphia would win the next series, but I have Toronto advancing. They're going to win in 5 games. 4-1. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with this Philadelphia team. Is outrageously bad. First game occurred tonight with Golden State Warriors versus the Houston Rockets. 104-100. Golden State Warriors won. KD 35. Draymond 14-9. Very bad officiating, though. Harden put up 35. Gordon 27. A lot of other good stats, but Harden was clearly fouled on that foul. Surprisingly, he gets called for days all regular season, and this occurred. Ridiculous. Now, Golden State has outscored Rockets by 3.3 points per game, per possession, points per 100 possessions in the last 18 games. That's ever since Kevin Durant's come over. Now listen to this stat. Harden shot only 36% against Utah's D, which is the worst that he had against the rest of the season. But the way they did this was they always put a man on his left hip and they shot out behind him, which means that they relied and forced him to his wrong side. He completely took away his left side and minimized it. Only Boston and Houston have a 500 win percentage since Kevin Durant has joined the Golden State Warriors. They're both 9-9. Obviously, this is a rematch of the conference finals last year when I went to Game 7. Chris Paul obviously missed. We know what went down there. I still got Golden State winning 7 games, though. But if anything happens, they must keep it a good game because when Houston is 7-3 against Golden State when they have a lead with 5 minutes left. Golden State shoots 5 for 30 3-point percentage. That's crazy and big time thing to take note of. Now Portland versus Denver. It's going to go down. They were 3-1 in the regular season for Portland. Canada might be obviously a big issue, but I still have Portland winning 5. Denver's young. They just came out very hard series against San Antonio. Portland's came rested. Damian's playing at a whole other level. Damian's losers rate, though, was down to only 22.2% when they played against Denver, which is the least against any other West team. And Denver, they're one of the best teams against the pick and roll, which Portland uses the pick and roll the second most behind Houston. It's going to be a great series, great second round, especially in the Eastern Conference, and then that Houston-Golden State matchup. Get ready for the conference final. But what I'm saying is I got Golden State playing Portland, which will get Golden State still going to win all, so on. We know that path. And then, of course, I got Milwaukee. I got Toronto advancing. I got Milwaukee going to the NBA championship, losing to Golden State as of right now. But there's still more to come. So that's what I got to say about the NBA playoffs so far and what's going to happen. Stay right there, because up next is the fan favorite SchuZ Zone. You're not going to want to miss what I have to say about some of the big topics and stuff that went down across the NBA and a little bit about the NFL draft. Stay tuned, everyone. All right, so let's get right into it. SchuZ Zone. I know you guys all love this, where I go over some of the biggest topics that weren't quite covered enough by the media this past week. So the first thing I want to talk about is women's NBA will now have 40 games nationally televised. They've come to terms with a deal with CBS, and it's women's NBA's 23rd season. Now it's gonna be a big time game. I'm excited to see what they happen now because they will get some more money. The players will get an income of money because they have more money to give them. It's plain simple. I said that a couple episodes ago. The more money they get, the more money that's brought into the organization and women's NBA, the more money the players get. It's that simple. They have the same percentage of income rate as the NBA does. Now, negative news for the women's NBA. Two of its biggest stars are most likely, well, Breanna Stewart is out for the season after seriously getting hurt overseas in a game by Brittany Griner. As for Brittany Griner's teammate, Diana Taurasi, she's expected to miss 10 to 12 weeks, which will put her mid-season return, if not later, if all goes as planned. So not good news for either of those two teams there. Now, Kyle Korver also announced that he is mulling retirement and might just retire. One of the great social people, one of the great teammates, locker room, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest shooter of all time. He was not active in this year's playoffs very much. Utah traded for him at the beginning of the year, but obviously things did not go as planned. Also, speaking of Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell helped a woman out of the car after a practice last Sunday. That is something that shows why he's such a great person for the community. Everyone loves Donovan Mitchell. He's truly a humble, down-to-earth guy. He plays with so much passion and love for the game, but he's truly such a great person. It doesn't get much better than Donovan Mitchell. John Havlicek passed away at 79. Rest in peace. One of the founding NBA players. You know what I realized? A lot of the players that started this NBA game, some of the greats that we all know, are just not going to start passing away. It's going to happen more and more often, just like the NFL. Because the NBA is now getting to that point now where the players that started this game are getting older and older and are about to pass away now. As sad as it is true. So there will be more and more of these people that's going to have this. Kareem's going to get, I mean, what they do, though, for the game and what they've done has been amazing. And I just want to wish him and his family the best. Passed away at 79 years once again. Thank you for all you did for the NBA, Mr. John Havlicek. Now, here's two comments made by unanimous executives around the league and media people. Russell Westbrook needs to step back. Russell Westbrook's way past his peak. This is no debate to that. Let me tell you something. Ridiculous. Because this is a guy that knows how to put himself in a position to where he is successful and push through anything. He's going to work out this summer and get in the gym and grind out. I promise you this much. There's no doubt about that. Are you kidding me? It's Russell Westbrook. He is going to do it, and chill out, guys. Seriously. Maybe he's a little bit past his peak in terms of athleticism. But you're saying he can't still play? The man had a triple-double, and you guys are telling me he needs to take a step back and he's not good? No, they need to get a new coach in, and that's what they need to do. This is ludicrous and ridiculous. I'm tired of people saying this. Chill out on Russell Westbrook. He put a triple-double up. He can still destroy and play, and people are so scared of him, I guarantee you. He is not overrated. Show the respect to Russell Westbrook that he deserves. This is getting my last word. I'm sick and tired of hearing about this. Next thing, D'Angelo Russell said, as he is approaching restricted free agency with the Brooklyn Nets, he said, I definitely want to be here, but I understand and know that it is a business. Now, in my opinion, I would love to see D'Angelo back. He deserves a max contract. He brought us to this postseason. But yes, there's guys like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, so on and so forth. That also could be max players that are interested in Brooklyn. Now, I'm taking D'Angelo over Jimmy Butler without a doubt, probably over Tobias as well. Then it depends with Kyrie, just because he's already ingrained to the system. He's developed. He's young. For that case, of course, KD's going over him. Let's be honest. So we'll see. I would love to see D'Angelo back, but if other things happen, I trust what Sean Marks does. He's the greatest, if not one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest GM in the NBA. Orlando said that Nikola Vucevic is a priority in free agency, that they want to bring him back. I knew that was going to happen. When you win games, they want to pay you and keep the team together. It is not good, though. He's a great player, but he's going to get overpaid. I promise you guys that. Because no one else is going to pay him this money besides Orlando. Because Orlando's not going to get star players. I hate saying it, but I don't agree with it. Because you got a young player you just invested a top 10 pick in last year, Mohamed Bamba, is going to come out ready to play next year in this spot. You can't keep him off the bench for 3-4 years. Otherwise, you're going to be having a very expensive player off your bench. I don't know how long Vucevic's going to last. It seems a playoff team that's not that good. They need a lot of upgrades all around the roster. I don't know what they're going to do, but I would not keep Vucevic unless it's a cheap deal. Now, Popovich also said he's likely to return next season, which is a great thing, obviously, for the game. San Antonio's going to come back. I'd love to see what he does with guys like Lonnie Walker, DeJounte Murray, Breen Forbes, and, of course, Derek White, DeRozan, Aldridge, Jakob Poeltl. He played great at the end of the year and so forth. Doc Rivers also has been extended, everyone, by the LA Clippers for a multi-year deal. So, they might go to the LA Lakers, a possibility. He deserves it. One of the greatest coaches in it. If you count what just went down in the playoffs, he's more than deserving of it. Now, Blake Griffin, had surgery repairs to have arthroscopic surgery in his left knee. He won't miss any offseason workouts or training or anything, but he did have to have another surgery in his left foot, in his left leg. Now listen to this, why this concerns me. He's a great player and he played through an injury, which I don't know if he should have. He laid his heart out there, but listen to this. So far since Blake Griffin entered the NBA, these are the things that all occurred in his left leg. Just his left leg, nowhere else. Sprained MCL, broken kneecap, meniscus tear, partially torn quad, bone bruise on left leg. Now an arthroscopic knee surgery. There's a lot of stuff going on with Blake Griffin, especially in the left leg, that's concerned him through his whole career, which held him back from being a Zion-type prospect, which he was originally. These things have to. I hope he gets healthy and he can revamp because he is so crucial to this Detroit team and why they're a highly sought-out team. Now, I'm going to talk about something else, though. This is something that obviously does not pertain to basketball, but it is the NFL draft. I just want to say, I'm not going to go into depth or anything like that, don't worry. But listen to this. Let me tell you something. My Arizona Cardinals, oh boy, they look nice. Kingsbury's got himself a crew out there, along with Kyler Murray, Hakeem, Baller. They added Isabella. They added all these kind of assets. Go Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, David Johnson. Oh boy. That defense is looking nice. Welcome to the Cardinals, everyone. Glad we got hometown. Wish we got Nikhil. He's going to be great with New England. Chiefs, on the other hand, not happy with what's going on with Tyreek. This is ridiculous. I'm sickened by this if this is true. The recording was horrible, horrendous. But I'm not so happy with the draft as well. But point is, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it turns out great. That's why I want to say the NFL draft. But this does, in fact, include SchuZ Zone, everyone. I hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode, and I'm so glad that you guys could all be a part of SchuZ Views once again. This does in fact conclude SchuZ Views episode 9 though. To get updates throughout the week and possibly find a way to get involved with SchuZ Views, go and follow me at Zach Shoemaker on Instagram or Twitter, or like my Facebook page at SchuZ Views. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at SchuZ Views Zach Shoemaker. Now, please do not forget to subscribe, like, or follow depending on the platform you are, and give me a 5-star and leave a comment, depending on the platform you are on. I cannot wait to see you guys next week as I hit up more topics with another special guest and Jordy in a days. You trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. I am your host, Zach Shoemaker, and I'm out. Be the light, everyone, and God bless.